When? When is it gonna end? When? Hi, it is I, once again, Mr. Cinema Junkie, and I'm fresh off of watching what was probably not the most painful experience in movie history, but wasn't too comfortable either. Yeah, I just got finished watching Last Exorcism 2. Now, you talk about a title working against itself. It's right up there with Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and then all those other chapters followed. We have The Last Exorcism, Part 2, which I could have been on board with if there were no exorcisms in this movie. That would have made The Last Exorcism The Last Exorcism, right? But no, they have a kind of exorcism in this one. But anyways, I digress. This one kind of picks up where part one left off. Sorry. This girl has no memory of what happened. She has like repressed memories and stuff. It's the same girl from part one. She's kind of catatonic. They put her in kind of like a clinic and then to a halfway house where other girls have, I guess, issues of their own. But none of these girls' characters really come out. I mean, they must not be too repressed. They must not be too troubled because they let them run out in Mardi Gras like, a couple of spring breakers. So at no time do I get the feeling that whatever problems they have were that bad. The only time I got that feeling was when the psychologist or whatever he was had them writing letters to someone who hurt them. And you have one girl saying, "Dear asshole, fuck you." And another one saying, "This asshole's making us write about stuff you did," and blah, blah, blah. So that's the only time I got any hint that there was something wrong with any of these girls. Other than that, typical people. Didn't really see anything wrong with them. The only one who seemed to have a big problem was our little demon-possessed chick. Her demon was named Abalam. How would you like to be a resident of the dark netherworld and walk around with a name like Abalam? I know Beelzebub is kind of a funny name when you think about it, but Abalam. Can you just picture some chief demon walking around on cloven hooves with a clipboard, looking around, and he sees him way in the distance, says, "Hey, Abalama Ding Dong, front and center." And the guy walks over, like, "Oh, man, I asked you not to call me that." He's like, "Hey, sorry, man, I'm just fucking with you. The Dark Lord and Master wants you to go up top and possess this girl. You up for it?" "Yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything else." Says, "All right there, Wham Blammo." Like, "Don't call me that." So he goes up to the surface, and then the guy walks in and says, "Oh, Dark Master of the Nether Regions, I come to tell you that I've carried out that little task you wanted me to carry out." And then Satan turns around and says, "You sent someone to the surface to take over the body of the damned." And he's like, "Yes, sir, I sent Bam Bam." And he goes, "Oh, don't call him that." That's my little bit on Abalam. Sorry. But anyways, back to the movie. Yeah, the movie was kind of like a little all over the place. She's kind of discovering herself throughout the movie. Apparently, like, her upbringing was very sheltered. It's almost like she didn't know what music was, and she never had a boyfriend, although she did get knocked up, but that was not really her doing. In the first one, I mean. So she's never had a boyfriend. She's never really been kissed. She has some deep-seated desires that keep coming to the surface. But in this movie, she's just kind of like getting to know herself, like I said. And she's starting to join the real world. And she gets a job as a housekeeper. You talk about life in hell. She's coping pretty well. But then she keeps getting, of course, the little visits from the demons and stuff. There was one partner that I had like a major problem with. It was when they called her to the phone. Someone from downstairs said, "Someone on the phone for you. It's a boy." And she's like, "Oh, Sarah, shut up. It try nothing." And she goes downstairs and she answers the phone. She's like, "Hello?" And it's the voice of this boy that she met that she really likes. His name is Chris. And he's like, you know, hey, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then he says something like, you know, I really want to be inside you. And she like freaks out and hangs up, you know. And this whole big thing. Now the phone keeps ringing and she keeps hanging it up. And then she pulls the cord from the wall and the phone keeps ringing. Okay, supernatural shit, right? But then in the next scene, she's fast asleep in bed. Now let me tell you something. There's not much in this world that scares me. But if my goddamn phone kept ringing, even though I unplugged it from the wall, I wouldn't go to sleep. I'd be up all night wondering what the fuck was coming after me. Looking out the windows like, is it here? No, hell no. She just goes to sleep like, oh, well, Mimi times. So, yeah, she's having like, she sees visions of people in Mardi Gras masks, and, you know, apparently that's the demon looking for her. And the reason I pleaded in the beginning of this video about when does it stop is because if you remember, and I'm sure you will because the video didn't go up too long ago, I talked about warm bodies. In that, a zombie falls in love with this one girl. Well, in this one, apparently, Abilene has a crush on this chick. He didn't just possess her for the sake of possessing her. They weren't just trying to bring about the end of modern man through the birth of this child who may or may not have been the Antichrist. No, no, no. It's way beyond that. He loves her. Yeah. The girl says that this girl that has been watching over her ever since she was in the clinic, and by the way, she clipped a piece of her hair and put it in a little mojo bag and shit. She comes to her at one point and she brings her to the house and starts doing this little seance looking thing where she's trying to communicate with the demon, and she says, it's not like he wants to overtake you, it's almost as if he's in love with you. And he's powerless without you. And I'm like, what kind of minor demon did you get thrown, girl? He needs you for power? Shit. And like with any movie, I don't want to give away the ending. I don't want to give away the ending. No, I take that back. I do want to give away the ending, but I'm not going to. For anyone who might be curious and want to see this, I will not fuck the ending for you. I will say this. The ending was kind of cool. It was pretty, I guess, for all intents and purposes, it was pretty strong. But sitting through this movie to get to that ending was like getting your fucking tonsils ripped out just to get a bowl of ice cream. It was only better by a small margin from part one because part one had that semi-annoying documentary style deal going on. Now, not to say that some documentary style movies are not cool. I do like some of the shaky cam movies. I really do. Cloverfield was a great one. Blair Witch I saw and I liked it, but it has no rewatch value for me. But this one, for some reason, didn't really grab me. It was just like too, I don't know. There's something bothered me about it. Like they couldn't decide whether they wanted to be documentary style or straight film style. Okay? Now, I mentioned the Blair Witch Project. In that one, the first one, it was all documentary style, found footage kind of movie. And then in the second part, it was mainstream film type shit. Okay? That's kind of what they did here. They switched from the documentary style to mainstream movie making. Yeah, I want to say something about the ending so bad, but like I said, I'm not going to give away anything. All I'm going to say is if you watch it, just remember this word. Or remember this phrase, not this word. Very much not inconspicuous. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Very much not inconspicuous. You know, subtlety, trying to stay under the radar. Not in this one. You'll know what I mean if you see the movie. You really will. But yeah, that's just a really quick review because I don't have much more to say than that. Do I recommend the movie? Not unless you're a huge fan of the first one. And from what I got from the first time, people were talking about part one, not a lot of fans. So I don't see a lot of people flocking to see this one unless they are praying to have a decent sequel and hoping for the best. I don't see anybody else. I don't see anybody really running to see this movie, just because they'll probably be going off the first part, which really, really sucked. Okay, I have cousins. All right, I have two cousins in particular who get really scared really easy with horror movies. They admitted to me that horror movies do in fact frighten them. This movie, or the first one, I mean, the first Last Exorcism, that sounds so fucking stupid. The first Last Exorcism. Anyways, the first part of the Last Exorcism, uh, they thought it was a joke. They actually just sat there like, is this for real? Are they trying to be scary? Are they? Now, if those two sat through it, then there's something seriously wrong with the movie. That's what I have to say about that. There is something seriously wrong with your formula, because I'm telling you, these girls, they jump, they get scared of these things, and when they saw the first part, they were kind of like, ugh. So if you weren't on board with the first one, it's not a guarantee you won't like the second one a little better, but I emphasize the word little better. Little better. Little is what I'm emphasizing. I keep saying, remember this word, and I keep coming up with like 5 or 6 words. Sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, I'm trying to keep this video kind of short because the internet service that I'm working with is very slow, and it uploads shit really, really slow. And prior to this video, I have 4 others that I just uploaded. So, yeah, got a little catching up to do on my part. But I thank you one and all for watching. And like I said, I almost said Last X-Lax, which would be a fitting title for this shit. It really would. Yeah, I personally don't really recommend it. Like I said, unless you're a fan at all, or unless you're curious as to what they did with the series, what direction they took it, and how they carried on, then by all means do it. But I'll say this: if you're gonna do it, get it at Redbox. You blow $1.30, no problem. Don't invest 15 to 20 bucks on this disc. Don't do that. Bad move. Check it out first. Then, if you feel you have to add it to the collection, go for it. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as always, appreciate it. Thank you. Comments below, please. Lots of them. Talk to you soon. Bye.